Rather muggy after a hard rain shower around 5 o'clock. It's 80 degrees, but very muggy here in the Gateway City.
Probably kept the crowd down, too.
I would think so. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Nationals. And Jason Worth will lead it off, followed by Anthony Rendon. Then Bryce Harper, Ryan Zimmerman, Yunel Escobar, the longest tenured member of the organization, Ian Desmond, Jose Lobaton, the switch-hitting catcher, Michael Taylor, and Gio Gonzalez. That's the starting 9 for Matt Williams' club, the reigning manager of the year in the National League. Espinosa, a switch hitter. Matt Dendecker, the former Met, along with Clint Robinson from the left side, Turner and Ramos from the right side. At home, he has been one of the best in baseball and one of the best ever in the 10-year history of this ballpark, and that's John Lackey getting the call.
Unbelievable. His 19th start here in St. Louis. Look for first pitch strikes. He's done it over 70% of the time this year. That's and 14.3 pitches per inning, second to Mark Burley. Very stingy.
And we're underway with a strike to Jason Worth.
That first pitch of the game for Lackey's been automatic, hasn't it?
I would assume that more of the hitters, and I think we've seen this too, Tim, that in his last, I'd say 3 to 4 starts, have been more aggressive early in counts.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do when Lackey throws so many strikes that early.
Here's a 1-1. And it's 1-2. The Nationals hitting .250 as a team. That's 11th in the National League. They have popped 18 home runs in their past 10 games and gone 6-4 in that stretch. And the 1-2 pitch. He got him, and a strikeout of Jason Worth. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for John Lackey, the Cardinals starter tonight.
And look for a lot of fastballs. The 4-seam, 2-seam, or sinker. That's a third on your list there. Little slider and a curveball. Curveball, slider, kind of a slurve, and a very rare changeup. Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach for the Cardinals, and is he a good one, taking over for Dave Duncan 4 years ago.
Seamless transition.
It really was.
And now the Cardinals with the best pitching staff in terms of numbers in the game by a wide margin. Anthony Rendon, one of the banged up Nationals this year, finally healthy, batting second, riding an 8-game hitting streak. 1 ball, 1 strike. Injuries have been a part of the story for Washington. We've talked about this team coming out of spring training. Many believe would be the team to beat because of their great pitching.
Everybody chose the Nationals.
But a lot of injuries along the way to their everyday lineup. Denard Span is done for the year. He'll have hip surgery tomorrow. Rendon missed 53 games with a left knee injury. Jason Worth missed considerable time. Strasburg has been on the DL. Zimmerman, Pfister, the list goes on and on. Here's a 1-2. That's tapped foul. But they do have that man day in and day out, Bryce Harper. And he's in the running for the MVP of the National League with 1 month to go.
First in a lot of categories in Major League Baseball, not just the National League.
He's 22. It is unbelievable. 22 years old. The 1-2. Back to Lackey. He's got it. 2 down. Brandon Moss gets the start in left field tonight. Jason Hayward in center. Stephen Piscotty in right. Along the infield, Carpenter, Peralta, Wong, and Reynolds. Yadier Molina behind the plate, and that's presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. He is second in average in the National League at .331. 31 home runs, 77 RBIs. First in homers, 8th in ribbies. Outside chance at a triple crown. He would have to get on a tear in that RBI department. Paul Goldschmidt has 96. First pitch, a strike.
Dan, the reason it is so refreshing and makes you feel good if you're a baseball fan is to say the word unbelievable. And the reason for that is most players' skills are believable. They're standard. Obviously, you have to be very skilled to play at this level, but for most guys, their skills are routine. Some have a greater desire to more competitive, a desire to win, things like that. And that comes in obviously very handy. This guy is really special.
Give me what you think is the prime of your career in terms of age. When do you hit that, you think? 28, 29?
Well, I think it's different. I think it's different for different players. And it depends on whether you're a hitter or a pitcher. Some pitchers, when their arms get strong or something like that, and now they do such remarkable surgeries. For a hitter, I'd say 27 to 29. And here, this guy, he had 2 20-plus home run seasons before he was 21.
It's incredible.
Tony Conigliaro is the only guy who did that. The great Red Sox outfielder.
3-1 the count on Bryce Harper. Outfield is deep and straight away. 2 outs and nobody on. And time is called.
Yeah, your point's well taken, too, because if it's 27 to 29 and he's 22, what's he going to be like?
How good can it get? It's sharply to the right side. Wong bobbles and can't come up with it. 14th error on Colton Wong. He had a couple of cracks at it, too, and a hard hit ball and bobbled it. And Harper is aboard.
Yeah, Wong upset. You know, we've talked about when he ranges to his left or right a long way. He's done that 16 times for the Cardinals this year and could not find the handle on that ball. I've always thought that was the strangest term. Find the handle when there is none.
There is no handle. You don't pick it up by the hand. You pick up the ball.
Yeah. Not a lunch bucket.
Here's Ryan Zimmerman, who in many ways has been the face of the Nationals franchise on some very poor teams and now on some very good teams. He has made the transition from third base to first base this year. Harper, by the way, has reached base in 12 straight. Reaching on the air by Colton Wong. One and one the count. Baseball, and you've talked about it, Tim, you use the word cruel. It is a cruel game. And you think about John Lackey. Last time he saw the Washington Nationals, he did not cover first on a couple of plays that cost him. But it was a game that he took a no decision, and the Cardinals won it 7-5. And you could make a case it was the best game we've seen Colton Wong have this year. He made 2 dazzling plays defensively, you may recall.
Oh, yeah.
And had 3 hits.
All over the place. Ranging from first to third. It seemed.
He was everywhere.
It was.
1-2 lifted into right field. Piscotty is over, won't get there, and that drops in.
Gotta hurry.
And it is a fair ball. The relay to the plate is in time, and the tag not in time. Harper scores, and it's 1-0 Washington.
He was safe. That left hand was in there before the tag. And again, so much has been called to blocking the plate. Yadier Molina catching the ball out in front. He had to be like 5 yards from bringing the glove back, and that takes time. Because if you're back and you're blocking the plate, the ball's going to get there before, as you allow it to travel, instead of catching it and then bringing back if it's on line. But I don't think that ball was on line. So Molina had to make the play out in front, try to sweep back, and miss the tag.
That's
went
what happened.
Above the arm.
Had the swipe tag, trying to be as quick as he could towards the plate, and with that it cost him. And a ground ball to Wong. He handles this one easily, but the error is costly. Bryce Harper on the base hit to right by Ryan Zimmerman, scoring all the way from first base. Career run number 301 for the 22-year-old. The slide underneath the tag.
Great call.
1-0 after a half inning. Baseball to score more runs than Bryce Harper. He picked up career run number 300 yesterday. On that list, Melot, Cesar Cedeno, and Freddie Lindstrom, and next Bryce Harper.
Hey, you score on a ball like that when you run hard from first base too, and he has never been accused of dogging it, but one time when Matt Williams benched him last year.
That was against the Cardinals.
us. That's right. That's right.
Here is Matt Carpenter, and the first pitch from Gio Gonzalez is a strike. The Cardinals are 4 games above 500 when facing a left-handed starter, which may surprise you going into the season with all the lefties in the Cardinals lineup. Matt is hitting .262. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Home run number 20 for Carpenter yesterday.
14 as a leadoff hitter.
It's second in Cardinals history to Lou Brock. 1967, Lou had 21 home runs, drove in 76 to go along with 52 steals. Not bad. 2-2 the count. Boy, Harper is playing a very deep right field. The 2-2. The check swing, and he went. A strikeout of Carpenter.
Looks like Matt knew it too. I didn't think initially he did, but Matt agreeing with that call.
The Cardinals lineup. Here's Stephen Piscotty riding a 7-game hit streak, followed by Johnny Peralta, and then Jason Hayward, Molina, Wong, Reynolds, Moss, and Lackey. Greg Garcia on the bench from the left side. Borges, Cosma, Cruz, and Pham from the right side. Stephen Piscotty hit .361 on the trip. He has a 7-game hit streak, .464 during that time. That's to the backstop, slipping out of the hands of Gonzalez. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Gio.
He has as good a stuff as any left-hander in the game. Sinker, 4-seam fastball. That's when he holds across the seams, and that curveball is as good as it gets. Occasional changeup.
The 1-1. What he has done this year, though, as opposed to previous seasons, and as you mentioned, Tim, he's been a very good left-handed pitcher in the big leagues. He's throwing the 2-seamer a lot more. And he was saying last week that the 2-seamer, in his mind, he's 29 years old, will extend his career because he's been a strikeout guy. Sometimes the walks get high, and with ground balls, more efficient, deeper into games. And in his mind, he says, will extend his career. We'll see. You take it with a grain of salt.
I'm thinking about that. He's a left-handed pitcher now.
I know. So I know what you think of those lefties, and I know what you think of pitchers.
I have the greatest respect for them.
I'm sure.
However, when you have to listen to them day in and day out.
How do you think I feel? I got to listen to Al and Rick. A couple of lefties.
And then me.
You never know. And then
yeah.
you might as well be left-handed. Here's a 3-2 pitch to Piscotty. And a fly ball into right. Harper on the track. We mentioned earlier he's playing very deep, and that benefits him on that play. Worth, Taylor, Harper in the outfield. Escobar, Desmond, Rendon, Zimmerman on the infield, and Lobaton is behind the plate. Dobbs Tire and Auto Center's defense.
And for about 3 weeks, we've seen Stephen Piscotty put the good part of the bat on the ball often. He has made some loud outs, a lot of hits, and even his outs have been hard.
2 outs, nobody on. Johnny Peralta. Johnny is 0 for his last 17. Drew a pinch hit walk in his appearance yesterday. Did not start. And on Saturday, hit into 3 double plays.
My question, first of all, about that sinker ball or two-seamer is if he expects to have that pitch help his career, why is he working from the third base side of the rubber?
Explain that.
Well, I mean, to me, that's not the place, and I guess Ricky Horton could explain it better than I, but that to me is not where guys who throw sinkers throw the ball, because he's toward the inside part of the plate to a right-handed batter. Now, he got it there, but it went through for a base hit. But usually, if you're on the third base side of the rubber, you're more effective inside to right-handed batters and not outside.
And snaps an 0 for 17 for Johnny Peralta.
That was a two-seam fastball right there.
His ground ball rate this year
better.
Much better. He's at 55%. A year ago, he was at 44. So that's a big difference.
Yeah, I don't think he relies on his curveball enough.
He's got a good one.
He's got a great curveball.
Giovanni Aramis Gonzalez. Gio. Here's Jason Hayward, hitting well above 300 here at Busch Stadium this year. 324. And coming off a good road trip in which he hit 361, and in 2 of the games had a chance to hit for the cycle. Here's a 1-0. Peralta not a threat to steal. 1 stolen base this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. Telling you, Bryce Harper is playing as deep as any right fielder we've seen this year.
You picked up on that, Dan. Nice catch, because I tell you, I didn't notice it at first. Been watching him since then. 2 feet from the track.
Desmond in foul territory puts it away, and the Cardinals strand a runner. We played 1. Nationals on top. I mean, they had it down to the khakis, the Sharpie next to the whistle, the hat.
Pretty clever.
Jim Harbaugh, his Michigan debut, and some excitement in Ann Arbor. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ian Desmond.
This Harbaugh leaving the 49ers 2 years ago, right?
This year. This is debut.
Yeah. Okay.
My understanding was that those gentlemen were in Cincinnati yesterday. I'm not sure they'd be very welcoming in Ohio, thinking about those guys wearing the Michigan outfit.
No.
I mean, think about that.
I thought about it quickly.
Luckily, they escaped and came here to St. Louis, and here they are. Ooh, they even have the Adidas, the stare. They're ready to go.
Shaking their heads in agreement.
Out to center field, and there is Hayward for the first out. Jose Lobaton is, to an extent, turned into the personal catcher for Gio Gonzalez. Wilson Ramos is their number 1. He has an 8-game hitting streak on the line. Does Ramos? He'll be on the bench tonight. We may see him late. Colton Wong is on the outfield grass. Lobaton is a switch hitter, and the first pitch is a strike.
How rare is that? How many switch hitting catchers can you think of? Only a handful over the last 50, 60 years. The best of whom, from an average standpoint, Ted Simmons. Jorge Posada, borderline Hall of Famer, as is Ted Simmons. And Danny and I were talking about it before the game. I mean, how many switch hitting catchers are in the Hall of Fame? I don't think there are any, to my knowledge. We didn't work on that, but just kind of a 3-minute conversation. Can you think of any?
I can't, not off the top of my head. If you're a switch hitting catcher, think about the longevity you can have in the big leagues too.
And you're not platooned.
And a left-handed hitting catcher too. Can have a nice career as well.
Well, that's if you run into a tall left-hander.
The
latter part of your career has got a good move to first.
No, sir. You earned every bit of that. And a strikeout of Lobaton as he has words with the home plate umpire. The second strikeout for John Lackey.
That breaking ball in the dirt, a good play by Molina. And I think Lobaton went around like a slider. Tell you, another look at it. I think Jose may have been right there. Did not look like he went around with that replay.
The number of injuries the Nationals have had. Michael Taylor has played a bunch, and we've seen him a lot in spring training. And it's hard not to come away impressed. Now, I understand, you know, when you see something in spring in the final month of the season.
Yeah, but we've seen him. We saw him in that series in April.
He's a good
and doing
player.
a little prep work before that. This guy can play.
Coming into this season, rated as their number 2 prospect, number 32 overall in Major League Baseball.
He can run, he can throw, he can hit for power. 22 home runs in AAA last year.
1 ball and 2 strikes. With all the rookies that have made a presence in the National League, not many talking about Michael Taylor being in that conversation for Rookie of the Year.
And Washington's not doing well either. And not living up to expectations.
Line to Colton Wong. The Hard Bros is what they call them. Cletus is here as well. Fox Sports 1, don't want to miss it. 6 Thursday night, college football returns. Michigan and Utah. We'll be back with more baseball in just a moment.
Now the Cardinals have turned into a home run hitting outfit. That trip, 11 home runs in 9 games. All of a sudden, a recent power surge. Dan mentioned the Washington Nationals have yet to see both teams strike for the long ball, but both capable with the way they've been swinging the bats lately.
Further your point, Tim, 19 home runs hit by the Cardinals in their last 16 games.
Yeah.
Something we haven't seen much of this year.
Or the last 2 years, really.
First pitch to Yadier Molina. He has 58 driven in, and 20 of those 58 have come in the month of August. 282, 4 home runs. The 1-0. Guides it the other way, and it's a foul ball.
Back to that 2-seam fastball. When a pitcher is aware of that pitch, and you're trying to show, the last 2 times he led with his elbow. When you lead with your elbow, you're not getting the maximum amount of effort out of your pitches.
In the air, left field. Jason Worth backing up a few steps. 1 away.
Ball tails toward the end. It flattens out. If you're on top of the ball with a 4-seam fastball, on the other hand, you've got more power. That's obvious. You throw it harder, but your control's better and it's easier on your arm.
Now it's Colton Wong, who's hitting .259, 11 home runs. He's driven into 51. Last year, Gonzalez was 10-10 as he made 27 starts. He's a former 21-game winner. That was in 2012. Finished 3rd in the Cy Young Award as R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer, now pitching with Toronto, took home the Cy Young in 12. What a great story that is.
Oh, terrific. Next year he's in Toronto. And this year, what are the Blue Jays doing? Well.
And he's pitching well again.
Yes, he is.
There's a breaking ball and a foul ball. The 10 wins, the lowest win total since 2009 for Gonzalez. Dealt with shoulder issues. Still struck out a batter per inning. And the 0-2. Now he has pitched really well against the Cardinals in regular season play. But if you go back to the division series in 2012, the Cardinals would win that in Game 5, dramatic fashion. 10 innings, 11 walks. in those 2 starts for him. Regular season, a .93 ERA against the Cardinals in 4 starts.
One of his better games started, the anniversary of it, on this day, August 31st, 2012, when he shut out the Cardinals, his first complete game shutout.
Gets the sign he wants and the 2-2. Strikeout of Wong. Second strikeout for Gio Gonzalez. Gonzalez, they need a good outing for him. It's so important, obviously, for them to get any win that they can. They're running out of time.
Especially with Strasburg going down again. Their best pitcher last year, Doug Fister, in the bullpen now.
Right. Gonzalez had an 8-inning shutout in LA. As Reynolds takes a ball inside. Since then, he's had 3 straight games without throwing a pitch into the 6th. Just 12 1/3 total innings that he's thrown in his last 3. So he comes in struggling.
That's a rough 3-game stretch.
1 ball, 1 strike on Mark Reynolds. Had a couple of home runs on the road trip and riding a 7-game hitting streak. Been watching Harper, Tim, from the first pitch. He has not moved from that destination in right field. He is, what do you think, 2-3 steps away from the track? As deep as anybody's played out there.
Yeah, especially for a right-handed batter. I know Mark Reynolds has power, but his power is to left center and left field. He's not going to hit too many balls that deep in right field. I mean, occasionally he will.
And the 2-2. A strikeout of Reynolds. 3 on the night for Gonzalez.
An error by Colton Wong and a double by Ryan Zimmerman. And watch Harper getting a good jump from first base, running hard all the time. Piscotty barehanding the ball, but he missed the cutoff man. The cutoff man was Colton Wong. Had he hit Wong right there, he misses the cutoff man. It goes to Reynolds, and that's 1 bounce also. All those things take time. You hit the cutoff man, and you get Harper at home.
Great point. Yep. And they still almost got him. So it gives you an idea if they hit the first man.
Yeah, right.
Most definitely get him.
Right.
0-2 quickly here on Gio Gonzalez. Pitcher batting .094. No home runs. 2 RBIs. Just 3 for 32 this year, and he taps that foul. Third strikeout for John Lackey. Our BJC Healthcare difference maker, what the Cardinals have done against the Nationals since 2008 here at Busch Stadium. 18-2.
That is eye-bulging.
The Cardinals playing so well overall here at home. The Cardinals here at Busch, 27 games over 500. Tim, there's only been 3 teams winning percentage wise in the history of the Cardinals that have had a better winning percentage than the Cardinals of 2015 at home. 19 losses. That's it. We're almost in September.
Yeah.
Astonishing numbers. And those teams that had the better winning percentage were teams that were in the 40s.
Those good teams in the early 40s during the war, and then that led to playing the Browns in the only World Series, St. Louis in 1944.
Worth goes the other way, slicing and fair into the right field corner. So Jason Worth with a double. He was 2 for 4 with a double and a home run yesterday in their 7-4 win, and he's paying dividends at the top of their lineup.
It's good for a hitter when he uses the other way on balls away. You don't try to pull them. These are guys who hit for an average. Look where this pitch is. Might have been off the plate away. Good hitting by Worth.
And it brings in Anthony Rendon. Rendon, a natural third baseman. But they have Yanel Escobar, who does not feel comfortable at second. So Rendon is comfortable to play second after he did that with Ryan Zimmerman at third. This guy is a good player.
Yes, he is. Went to the University of Rice. Cardinal fans understand. Another outfielder that helped them a great deal back in 2011. Lance Berkman, Rice graduate. What a career he had.
We were talking about switch hitters earlier. One of the best.
Yeah, it wasn't a catcher, but what a switch hitter.
Carlos Beltran, another that was here in St. Louis. I think you're talking about Beltran being a Hall of Famer now.
Yeah, yeah.
0-2 the count on Rendon. Hayward, the center fielder, shading him a bit the opposite way. And it's 1-2. Rounded out his first time up, back to John Lackey. Lackey, 36 years old, making his team leading 27th start tonight. 12 straight years of at least 10 wins. Long look at second. And he got him. A strikeout of Rendon. 4 tonight for John Lackey. Follow the Cardinals with MLB.com at bat. #1 app for live baseball, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. It's all at MLB at bat.
Interesting situation right here, because we've noticed, at least I have, at least one thing with Lackey. He does not like to pitch around hitters.
No, sir.
I don't care who it is.
Nope.
Babe Ruth could be up there in this situation.
He's going at him.
He's going at him.
Totally agree. And now you have Harper, and the first pitch is taken in. By the way, Carlos Beltran hit his 31st double and number 500 of his career tonight. Boston leads New York 3-2, and that's in the 5th. What a career. 2 outs, runner at second. Harper reached on an error by Wong and scored the first run of the game.
You knew that this was going to be the first conversation on the mound with Harper up, 2 outs, even though there's a good hitter on deck in Ryan Zimmerman. And I think Lackey talking to Wong meant they were changing the signs. Molina came out there, Wong came later, and Lackey's not going to say anything to him other than last sign, second sign, whatever it might be. And he'll relay it to Peralta.
2 outs, 1 ball, no strikes, and time is called. There was a poll conducted, and it asked the players, none of them named obviously, about the most overrated player in the game, and a lot of them pointed to Bryce Harper. And I thought,
from
you
the
gotta
players?
be kidding me. Yeah, this was earlier in the year.
Those had to be a lot of guys in the American League.
And a lot of guys that may be jealous of the 22-year-old.
Yeah.
Leads the National League in home runs. Second in average, as we mentioned. He's first in runs scored, 8th in hits. And a sign of respect and also discipline is what you do at the plate concerning walks. He's got 95 walks this year.
Yes.
Is he even being pitched to very often? And the count runs to 3-0.
You know, that was actually a strike, but Molina and Lackey didn't even complain about it. Lackey usually will complain about a pitch like that.
Likes to lean back and then stare back into the umpire.
Yeah.
And there's a strike, 3-1. And the sabermetric look at Harper as well as OPS and WAR. So any way you want to cut it, this guy's had quite a season. A 3-1 pitch by John Lackey. And he walked him. So that'll be the first walk issued by Lackey, and it brings in Ryan Zimmerman. And to further the point, Tim, about the walks, I realize it's not the 27 Yankees hitting behind Bryce Harper. However, it is Ryan Zimmerman, Yunel Escobar, for a long time Jason Worth,
Rendon at times.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good bats behind him.
Oh yeah.
And teams are saying, well, let's deal with the next guy instead of Bryce Harper. And by the way, I agree with you. When I watch the young man play, he plays hard.
He does.
Whether you like him or not.
Played too hard early in his career. You know, I said about 4 years ago, I said somebody's got to talk to this young man and slow him down.
I remember you saying that, yeah.
They have to get to him, and I think somebody has. A lot of that was youthful exuberance.
Is it more about picking your spots? That kind of thing?
I think just reining in your skills, reining in your over-exuberance. He'd crash into walls going after foul balls all the time. Needlessly, really.
3-0, and you know the veteran Zimmerman has got the green light here. Second on the team in RBIs. He's picked up an RBI in 6 of his last 7 games. Doubled in Harper back in the first inning. There was the breaking ball on a 3-0. Chased a ball, 3-2.
Yeah, that would have been ball 4.
And a ground ball that's hit up the middle. Wong steps on the bag. Beats Harper there. National Strand 2. The warm night here at the Gateway City. Cardinals, we talked about their home record. Sensational. What about the breakdown for the Nationals? East, Central, and West, they have struggled against the National League Central. They're not the only ones.
No, they've got company in that category.
Pittsburgh and Chicago have played so well. Jake Arrieta, the no-hitter yesterday. And a pajama party for Joe Maddon's club on the way from Los Angeles back to Chicago. They all had to wear onesies.
I think Joe Maddon's great. I think I like his Renaissance living and stuff like that. But a pajama party is going too far, in my view, for a bunch of grown men. Getting in your jammies and celebrating the no-hitter? What are you talking about?
You and Gibson, that'd have been a perfect sight. Mix in Cepeda,
Lou Brock,
all in onesies,
and our jammies. flying from L.A. to Chicago. Mike Shannon.
Well, he may have been in that anyway.
That's the one thing. I've known Mike for 56 years, and I've never seen him in jammies.
Have you ever seen him not in black?
Few times, very few times.
Usually
when he wore the Cardinal uniform.
That's what I'm saying.
That was the only time.
Yeah.
Michael.
He's locked in right now.
He is, you bet. But a jammy party,
it's not your deal.
No. Nope.
All right, we're going to call C.J. Cherry. Our trembling secretary's been here forever. Does a great job, and
sure does.
We're going to text him and tell him Tim is asking for the pajama party next road trip. Thank you, signed FSN crew. We're in. We got it. A walk to Moss. Want a great deal on Cardinals tickets? Fill up at Phillips 66, 8 gallons or more. Now until September 24th. You'll receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66.
Johnny Keane used to point out, he said, especially for pitchers, if you're going to bunt, if you're going to sacrifice bunt, get it down on the first pitch. And the reason for that is when a pitcher faces another pitcher, there's some fright involved. I mean, it's tough. They don't hit that much. But make sure you get the bat out. If you bunt it on the first pitch, occasionally you foul it off, but you'll be more determined on the second pitch.
As a catcher, you know it's a bunting situation. What do you call primarily?
Fastball.
Fastball.
No breaking balls. No. Even though Gibson used to like to throw sliders to right-handers in bunting situations, get them to bail back, hit the ball off the end of the bat. He got a lot of strikes that way.
1 ball, 1 strike here on John Lackey.
Rule of thumb is high fastballs.
Lackey is hitting 122. No home runs. And 2 RBIs. 8-3 his record here at home. The ERA is under 2 for John Lackey. 13 starts. All have been quality here at Busch Stadium. Gets the bunt down. And Zimmerman goes to second. It's a double play. Ryan Zimmerman, the reason he's at first base is because his shoulder is a mess, but he made a strong throw there.
And that is a dangerous play for a guy with shoulder problems. So Ryan Zimmerman is telling you that his shoulder's all right. You make this play, your shoulder's fine.
Tell you what, Tim, in years past, last couple of years primarily, and this is a Gold Glove caliber third baseman when he first came up.
Yeah, he won 1 Gold Glove at third.
It was painful to watch him throw.
I know. He's a real professional player, this guy, in every way.
2 outs, and here is Carpenter, who struck out on a check swing his first time up. And he lifts it in the air out to left field. Jason Worth, former catcher, former right fielder, former center fielder. He's in left tonight. Puts it away. He's played everywhere. You get it. RBI double by Ryan Zimmerman to score Bryce Harper back in the first, following the error of Colton Long as John Lackey goes back to work on a warm, muggy night here in St. Louis. Let's check in with Jim Hayes, get an update on some of those injuries of the Cardinals. He's with John Mozeliak. Jimmy.
Yeah, well, let's start with Carlos Martinez, who won't make his start tomorrow night. Mo has some tightness in his back. Is that kind of a blessing in disguise for a pitcher that you were probably looking to limit some innings at some point?
Yeah, we just felt it made the most sense to buy him a few extra days. And when you think about the volume that he and Walker have pitched, it's just something that at some point we knew we were going to have to look for this opportunity, and September provides that for us.
Matt Adams came back to St. Louis from Florida, had a setback with his left leg, some muscle discomfort. How much of a setback is this for Matt?
I would say it's mild. I mean, obviously, before we left for the road trip, we were optimistic that maybe he'd be ready to go by the time we got back, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. You know, I think my largest concern right now is just will he have the opportunity to get minor league at bats, and unfortunately their seasons are winding down a week from today.
How about Randall Grichuk? We know he's continuing to rehab the elbow, but he's yet to throw. How close is he, or how far away?
Well, he was cleared to start swinging today. Unfortunately, I've been pretty tied up this afternoon, so I have not had an update on that, but the fact that I haven't had a negative text probably means it was positive.
How about Matt Holliday? We understand he's ramping in the running and running with a little bit more effort. How close is he?
Well, I'm encouraged at where he's at, and you know, you look at what he's been through. I think we want to just be smart this second time around, and I know that's sort of his mindset as well, but still hopeful he'll be back soon.
How about John Jay?
Well, Johnny's out on a rehab, so of the group we're talking about, he's by far the closest, and very hopeful that sometime by the end of this week or early next, he's ready to go.
How do you guys determine who's going to get the call up and how many?
A a lot of it is how you're going to be used, and also sort of where we are in the season, who are we trying to give rest to, but also create some opportunity for those individuals when they come up. So, historically, we've always tried to be right around somewhere between 32 and 35, because clubhouses do get crowded, but ultimately it comes down to who we think can help us, and so I imagine we're going to be right in those numbers again.
How about some of the young guys that are up and contributing? That road trip, obviously Stephen Piscotty, Tommy Pham had huge contributions. What impresses you about those guys?
Well, I mean, think about the success we had on that road trip, and it's always exciting when you have 1 through 8 contributing, and so for us to have guys step up the way they have, and as you mentioned, Pham and Piscotty, they were on fire offensively, so it was great to see.
Do you guys start making plans as to how a postseason roster might look if you get there with guys that may be healthy at some point? Does the planning for that scenarios, does that start already? Have you already looked at that?
It's something that we think about, but it's not something that has to be an action item at this time, because if you think about it, there's still a lot of baseball to be played, and more importantly, we'll have a better sense of where everybody is physically 3-4 weeks from now.
All right, so it'll be Marco Gonzalez getting the start tomorrow in place of Carlos. Marco dealt with some injury things. I know he's had a tough road back. Where is he, in your opinion?
Well, he's definitely taken the baby step approach to this, but that's really in his best interest from a physical standpoint. And so tomorrow night, obviously, if we could get a quality start out of him, that'd be fabulous. But the big thing for him is, pitch down, get ahead, and be able to throw those strikes.
Well, it's been fun watching your ball club. Hopefully the winning continues tonight and tomorrow with Marco. Thank you, Mo.
A lot of baseball tonight, so hopefully we'll get some runs.
Danny, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jim. We appreciate the time with John Mozeliak. Jose Lobaton, the 1-1 pitch. One thing I've noticed, Tim, with Lackey, his velocity in his last start was really good. I mean, he's throwing 93 to 95.
Instead of consistent 91 to 93.
That's a big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for strikeout number 6. Just missed, a little high. 2 balls in, 2 strikes.
Well, 93 to 95 gives you more of a disparity between the fastball and the breaking ball. Fastball, changeup. Makes the others more effective.
The check swing, and he got him. 6 strikeouts through 4 innings for John Lackey. 1-0 Washington. Is tied with Carlos Gonzalez. The Rockies' Nolan Arenado with 30, and Todd Frazier also with 30. DraftKings.com and the promo code CARDS.
Remember, the Cardinals going to Colorado for the first time this year, and Carlos Gonzalez had struggled to get up to like 9 home runs. He was hitting 242 and gone a long way to get to there, and boy, he has just exploded for the last 2.5 months.
He sure has. Well, playing so deep, first time up, paid off for Bryce Harper in right field. He was spun around and made a catch on the track off the bat of Stephen Piscotty, who's 0 for 1. Find it interesting tonight that Piscotty gets the start in right field and Hayward is back in center, which you would think would be the natural way to have this lineup constructed with those two.
Yesterday it was just the opposite. Piscotty in center, Hayward in right.
And Stephen, at least at this level, a natural corner outfield position player, and Hayward, talked to him a number of times about playing center field. He's very comfortable there, no issues, and a good one too. Big gap in left center. The Cardinals have just 1 hit tonight against Gio Gonzalez. Big part of the success of the road trip, the man at the plate, Stephen Piscotty. You think about it, Tim, the Cardinals lose their first 2 games of the road trip, which began with a lead of 4.5. They come home tonight, a lead of 4.5. and 10 games off the schedule. The 2-2. Pittsburgh at Milwaukee. That's Cole against Jimmy Nelson. Chicago and Cincinnati tonight. Lorenzen and Hendricks. The Mets, by the way, hosting the Phillies, and Bartolo Colon making that start. He's 11-11. Piscotty with a fly ball into shallow right. Here comes Harper. Cardinal fans, did you know the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Now with the StubHub app, you can select your favorite teams and artists. Discover new ones too. Start at StubHub. Let the fun find you. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of your St. Louis Cardinals. Peralta, the lone hit for the Cardinals tonight, a base hit into center field. Fastball and a strike.
Interesting news in a Forbes article today. The case of Shoeless Joe Jackson has been reviewed by Commissioner Rob Manfred, and the decision will be announced tomorrow about whether Joe Jackson will be entering the Hall of Fame.
Shoeless Joe.
Shoeless Joe. He could go in without any vote. He does not need the vote by the Baseball Writers Association.
The Black Sox scandal, and he was lumped into that.
1919.
Kennesaw Mountain Landis kicking out a number of players from that White Sox team. And in the 1919 World Series, hit .375 with 6 RBIs in 8 games.
Yeah, led the White Sox in RBIs and batting average. How could you throw a World Series? And the White Sox lost 5-3, 5 games to 3, because in those days it was the best 5 out of 9.
Shoeless Joe Jackson was a non-educated man.
Illiterate. Yes.
As Peralta hits it out of play. Rob Manfred, you think about some of the things that he's got to do. That's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Rose will be another.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently Pete Rose has or will meet with the commissioner personally coming up.
I, for one, hope justice is served, and I hope Shoeless Joe Jackson gets in the Hall of Fame.
And Pete Rose?
Yes.
Second walk issued by
served
Gonzalez.
His time. And I think if Jackson doesn't get in, again, his case reviewed by Commissioner Manfred, the announcement probably will be tomorrow. Now, this is what the article said. If he is turned down, I think it's going to be negative toward Pete Rose. If he, on the other hand, is admitted, I think it's going to be a favorable impression with Pete going in, if that's the word.
Mm-hmm. A short lead at first by Peralta. Now it's Jason Hayward. And Hayward lifts a fly ball down the left field line. Pretty well hit, but out of play.
I never thought that I would say that I was for Pete Rose going in the Hall of Fame after what he did.
What changed it for you?
I don't have time.
Mm-hmm.
Time.
You consider him a friend and a guy that
I definitely do.
You
yes.
played with, you know.
Yeah, and it was hard to root against him all those years. Yeah, we were teammates in 1979, and I know Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench have their thing with Pete. There are other Hall of Famers who have said if he's voted in that it's going to tarnish the Hall of Fame. I understand all the arguments both ways, but in my opinion, I've changed. In my opinion, he should be allowed into the Hall of Fame, as should Jackson.
Little chopper slowly hit to the second baseman, barehanded and no play. A base hit for Jason Hayward.
I'll tell you, that came very close to interference by Johnny Peralta, but he ran perhaps as hard to second as he's run all year. Beat the play. Had the second baseman been in the act of receiving the ball and Peralta runs into him, then it's interference on Peralta's part.
And for the first time tonight, the Cardinals have a runner in scoring position, and in steps Molina. Boy, for a big man, Hayward gets down the line. He is 6'5".
Yeah. Takes him a while to unravel.
He's put together.
Oh, yeah.
Great shape and can run. And now the Cardinals have a chance. First time really to get on the board here with a runner in scoring position. First and second. Molina drives it into right center. And it's sinking and not caught. Harper couldn't come up with it. One run is in. Hayward held at third, and this game is tied. Molina with his 59th RBI, and 21 have come in the month of August.
Matt Williams is an inexperienced manager, but a good one, and he preaches from a defensive standpoint route to the ball. He's done that with Ian Desmond, their shortstop, improving the route, and also tried to do it with Harper, and that route was not good because it looked like Harper went back and then in. He misjudged the ball immediately. It short hopped in the glove and kind of kicks about 10 feet away from it. And that allows Peralta to score and Hayward to go to third.
And we're not picking on Harper, but yet he's playing deep and right. But Molina is one of the last players you think about playing deep into right on.
No, boy, that is a very, very good point.
And now Wong fouls it back for strike one.
Well, if you're playing deeply, your route's got to be better. Hayward, understandably, he doesn't know whether the ball's going to be caught or not. He goes as far as he can. And then, naturally, had he taken off the sound of the bat, he scores, but you can't do that. He had to hold up.
The 0-1 breaking ball, and it's 0-2 on Colton Wong. So runners at first and third. Cardinals have tied it up. One out here in the home half of the fourth. No balls, 2 strikes on Wong, who would love to atone for that first inning error. I think right now you'd certainly have to question whether or not Molina should be at second base. Up the middle, base hit into center.
Now you don't question it.
Colton Wong, some emotion from the young man, and it's 2-1 Cardinals.
Some of it has to do with that error he made. You can bet on that. And atoning for that, as you said, Dan. But you know, that was a good pitch from Gonzalez's standpoint. The ball is inside and tight. And Wong beat Gonzalez with a pitch that he makes outs on occasionally, more than occasionally. He's fired up.
And the Cardinals have gotten to Gonzalez here in this home half of the fourth. They've scored 2, and now it's Mark Reynolds who struck out back in the second inning. 3 consecutive hits following the walk to Peralta. And a fastball and a strike to Mark Reynolds. Gio Gonzalez has been involved in some big deals at the time with premier players. Traded from the White Sox to the Phillies for Aaron Rowan. Jim Thome traded back to the White Sox for Freddie Garcia. I'm not done. I mean, think about some of the names on this, and these were guys in the primes of their career, so that gives you an idea of what people in the baseball world have thought and think of Gio Gonzalez. He was traded then from Chicago to Oakland for Nick Swisher. Oakland then trades Gonzalez to Washington for 4 top prospects. A well-traveled lefty.
Yeah. For a guy with that good of stuff.
Absolutely.
I mean, when we faced him on April 21st, I said, when you look at Gio Gonzalez, when he's right, it's almost like, how can anybody ever get a hit against that stuff? And I still feel that way. His stuff's too good to have his record.
The 2-1 inside. Reynolds hitting .194 with runners in scoring position this year. So far, the Cardinals 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position.
Mark has been anxious. He needs to get a good ball. Doubt that he'll get a fastball here.
Inside. And the count runs full to 3-2.
In these situations thus far tonight, Gonzalez has thrown changeups in situations like this. So we'll see what Reynolds gets.
The 3-2. Driven into left center. That ball is down. Molina will score. And the Cardinals extend their lead. 3-1. Reynolds comes through.
You know, Dan, I thought initially that was a fastball, but it looked like a changeup on the inside part of the plate. The only reason I can think of that Colton Wong is not on third base is he wasn't sure if Molina was going to score or not. He's got to check Molina, but he slips going around second base. Then he checks Molina. But a ball like that, normally with nobody on second, Colton Wong ends up at third without a play.
Very interesting quote from back in spring training by the pitching coach of the Nationals when he was asked about the great talent that they have. And that's Steve McCatty, who's walking off the mound, said, quote, "We have a legitimate chance to win every single day." That's a good thing. How it turns out, I'd have to let you know sometime toward the end of September if it turns out like everybody says it's supposed to. The season has a funny way of changing on you, and these other teams are pretty good.
Yeah, that's
spoken like a guy that's been around a long time.
Knows the traps.
1 out, 2 on, and Moss grounds it towards first, and it's a fair ball. Zimmerman steps on the bag. Runners advance to second and third, and it brings in the pitcher John Lackey. You could have this great roster and this great rotation, but you just never know in this game. You never do.
No.
Lackey tried to bunt and sacrifice back in the third, and it turned out to be a double play. Lackey with his base hits, they have primarily been to right field. Now Harper has moved in a few steps in right, but still pretty deep for the Cardinals
he
pitcher.
could move in 7 more feet. John Lackey has no power whatsoever to right field.
And he pulls this to third. It's backhanded by Escobar, who slings it to first. Cardinals get on the board with 3 runs off of Gio Gonzalez. We head to inning number of the Pirates and Cubs, along with Washington, in this all-important homestand to end August and begin the month of September. Arcia in the driver's seat. The Cardinals have played well, obviously, this year, and they've done so against very good teams. At home, this is since 1900. The highest winning percentage against teams above 500. The Cardinals are 22-5. And the beat just goes on, huh?
Just ridiculous.
Good pitch by Lackey as we start play here in inning number 5. Michael Taylor, Gio Gonzalez, and Jason Worth. And that's strike 2.
You know what I think has kept this team working hard and pounding it, as Mike Matheny used that word, pounding and rushing forward, is the fact that they don't want to play a one-game playoff. They want to win the division. And I'll tell you, it's never been more paramount by the way they've been playing. I mean, they've been playing like they're catching somebody instead of being ahead of somebody.
I was talking with Clint Hurdle earlier this year. And I said, you know, what's your message to your team? Every year, Clint Hurdle, and he's great about every day sending messages to particular individuals in sports,
yes,
out of sports.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he said the mantra of this team has been, we cannot play the play-in game. We've done it twice now in a row. It's no fun. Win the division, get in a series. So if you have that one bad game, one bad start, you're not out. And that's what they're talking about too.
Pedal
Same thing.
to the metal, right? Winning the division. And I think the Cardinals, who have experienced one-game playoffs now, you know, they don't want to do that anymore. That is tough.
They did that against the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah. In 11. In 12.
And you may remember it was a
3 out of 5's bad enough.
It was a controversial infield
fly rule, left side of the drop between the left fielder and the shortstop.
It was Holiday and Cosma.
Yeah, I'd forgotten Cosma was in the game at the time.
How about John Lackey? He has struck out now 4 in a row, and that's 8 in 4 2/3.
Good breaking ball tonight.
Cardinals are in the hunt for the playoffs, and join us for Outdoors Night, presented by Cabela's at Busch Stadium, Tuesday, September 8th. Fans purchasing the special themed ticket take home a one-of-a-kind Mossy Oak Camo hunting cap. And that's cardinals.com/theme. Cardinals, you know, a reason that you see Cosma without question staying in the big leagues is what he can do defensively. If Peralta goes down, knock on wood that doesn't happen, I mean, he's your everyday shortstop, and the Cardinals know he can play at this level. He was also involved in a controversial play in 2013 in a game that you were calling, Game 1 with the Boston Red Sox and the Cardinals in the World Series on a potential double play. Pete tells us still when we go to Washington he is booed after his heroics in Game 5. He and Daniel Descalso and helping eliminate the Nationals.
Booed with praise.
I said, I can't believe these people still remember me.
Oh, they remember.
Oh, they remember.
Get used to it.
Even in spring training, when we see Washington, they boo him. The 2-1 to Jason Worth is taken low, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. You may recall, too, Pete Cosma was up. Jason Mott was on deck, and they pitched to the position player. The 3-1. And a walk to Jason Worth, and the second of the night issued by Lackey. Anthony Rendon is 0 for 2. He's grounded to Lackey and also struck out.
You could read John's lips there. He said, I've got to throw a strike there. Got to throw a strike. Key guy of this ball game right here with Harper on deck.
Breaking ball taken low. John Lackey comes for Joe Kelly and Alan Craig. Kelly 6-0 in the month of August for Boston.
How about that? I saw that today and I could not believe it. I just haven't, you know, the last time I heard he was in Pawtucket.
He's under the radar, not doing anything. First Red Sox pitcher to go 6-0 in a month since Pedro Martinez in May of 1999. Alan Craig is still at Pawtucket. Some talk that Dave Dombrowski, now running their show in Boston, would bring him up for the final month. We'll see. 2-0 the count with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Breaking ball again, and it's 3-0.
John Lackey is not pitching like Bryce Harper is on deck.
Three and one. Outfield is deep. A count of 3 balls and 1 strike. And Rendon hits a fly ball down the right field line, giving chase Piscotty, and it's out of play. To give you an idea of what John Lackey has done this year at home, we talked about the 13 starts. All have been quality, 3 or fewer runs in those starts. That's the best since 1914 in Cardinals history at home. He can make history tonight. He's tied with Wainwright. Wainwright did that 13 in a row in 2010. And tonight could be 14 in a row for John Lackey. You and I have talked a lot about this on and off the air. We thought he'd be okay, but not this good.
No.
Runner goes on the 3-2, and it's taken for a ball. And in steps Harper. Back-to-back walks. So after striking out the first 2, Lackey walks Worth and Rendon, and now it's Harper.
Yeah, I think on those 2 walks, you could say that the one to Worth was not good. The one to Rendon was bad.
Harper has reached on an error and scored the only run for Washington. Two outs, 2 on. First pitch to Harper. The MVP, by the way it's worded, need not come from a division winner or another playoff qualifier. Began in 1931. And if that's the case, then you're looking at Harper, you're looking at Goldschmidt. And right now, Lackey's looking at a tough spot, 2-0. Long ball battle. The Nationals have really picked it up, as Tim said earlier, in the home run department. Cardinals do not allow many. The 2-0. As a matter of fact, John Lackey has allowed 16 all year, this being start number 27. However, he's given up 5 in his last 4 games. Tim, you may look back at this game tonight and say this is the game right here with Harper and 2 on.
I thought it was with Rendon up there to get to Harper representing the go-ahead run.
See the third base coach out of the box and maybe in harm's way. A 2-2 by Lackey. Harper into center field. Hayward coming on. He's got it. Lackey and the Cardinals out of the jam. The bottom of inning number 5. St. Louis escaping the jam in the top half of the inning. Here's Carpenter, followed by Piscotty and Peralta. Fastball and strike one. Carpenter is struck out and also flied out to left. Ground ball right side. Gonzalez to the bag, and did he get on the bag? He did. What a play by Gonzalez, who may be hurt. He's shaking the left hand as he was spun around to make that play.
A lot of ankles are sprained in that fashion. Ball was behind him, thrown by Rendon. Zimmerman tried to make the play. It would have been easier, of course, but Ryan couldn't get there. Ball stayed down. Rendon throws it back to where Gonzalez had come from, the pitcher's mound. And Gonzalez, being a left-hander, had to make that play and kind of falls on the bag. Dangerous play.
Stephen Piscotty, breaking ball taken low. The young fans taking in this ball game. Two and 0 the count. Piscotty is over 2. Fly to deep right. And then shallow right field. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball and a strike. Cardinals began that road trip 0-2. Then went 7-1. Steven hits it out of play. Mixed in there was the first ever 4-game sweep of the Diamondbacks. That may have eliminated Arizona, and now Washington fighting for their lives. They have 6 games remaining with the Mets. And a breaking ball is tailing into right center field. There is Michael Taylor, and on the track he makes the catch. Piscotty is 0 for 3, and we take you back to the 4th inning. The AT&T Uverse rewind following a walk. It was an infield hit by Hayward. Then Molina the base hit. Picked up an RBI to score Peralta. Colton Wong with a little emotion after committing an error earlier tonight. And then Reynolds on a 3-2 pitch delivered with a base hit. The AT&T Uverse rewind.
And usually a walk is like a WD-40. It opens the door for 3 runs.
Just, you know, you never hear anything good following a walk.
No. Nope.
Ever.
Especially leadoff walks or walks with 1 out. You know, if a powerful guy's up there and you want to pitch around him in a 1-run game, fine. Or you walk those guys early in the inning and it seems like they always score. And I would tell all minor league pitchers throughout the minor leagues, if you walk a guy early in the inning, he's going to score. So never forget that.
The 2-0 is hit out to right, and Harper dancing out there at right field, circling that baseball, makes the catch. 3-1 as we head to the 6th. Marine Corps in the late 1990s, early 2000s. There is Kyle McClellan there in the back left, and Jay in front with his family. He's overcome an awful lot in combat, mental and physical injuries. Lives the motto, once a Marine, always a Marine. And he serves as a peer mentor at the Focus Marines Foundation to help young Marines and those that have been injured in combat. Had a chance to visit with a number of the Cardinals and the current players in red Schoendienst. And we say thank you to him. I had the chance to visit with Kyle and his family before the game, and he said, Dan, thanks for coming in here. I said, sir, no, thank you. And we mean that to all the men and women in our armed forces. Thank you very much for everything you do so we can do what we enjoy, like the game of baseball. Great to have him here at the ballpark. Big Cardinal fan.
My father was a combatant in World War II, 18 months in the Marine Corps, fought on Guadalcanal, one of the southern islands on the way to Japan. I know what you mean.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Glad to get him back, believe me.
Great to have Jay here. 2-2 as we start play here at the top of the 6th. Cardinals leading by the score of 3-1. Ryan Zimmerman at the plate. Breaking ball hit up the middle, and the tying run again will come to the plate for Washington. Love the drink run with any size, any flavor McCafe shake for just $1.99 only at McDonald's.
How about the plate coverage Ryan Zimmerman had on that slider from Lackey? Might have been down off the plate. Long arms, base hit.
The lead for the Mets is 5.5 over Washington. And there's some interesting numbers to tell you about trying to come back from this deficit this late in the season. Go back to 1994. Since that time, there have been 24 teams have come back to win their division when trailing on this date, August 31st. So it can be done, clearly, to win the division. As Escobar lines it into right field. Zimmerman on his way to third, and runners at the corners. However, and this is where it can be a bit alarming for Washington listening to these numbers. Only 2 had a bigger deficit than Washington does now and have come back to win the division. Only 2 since 1994.
Escobar easily into right center field. Zimmerman walks to third. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. An activity in the Cardinal bullpen.
Ian Desmond at the plate. Double play ball. A run will score. 6-4-3 on the double play. Zimmerman scores, cuts a lead to 3-2. What's on tap is presented by Budweiser. Ross will go against Marco Gonzalez. So the Cardinals will scratch Carlos Martinez, get him some rest, which is what they've wanted to do for both he and Michael Wacha in the month of September. So Marco gets the call up, and we'll see him tomorrow night. Young left-hander. Ball 1 to Lobaton.
We did Marco Gonzalez's first major league start last year in Denver.
Colorado native.
Fort Collins, I believe, right? About 90 miles from Denver.
Yeah, and his dad is.
I think it's Fort Collins.
His dad, a scout, works with a lot of the younger.
Yes, great story.
Players with the Rockies, and he grew up a Rockies fan. Two outs. Nobody on. Lobaton has struck out twice, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Lackey is pitch count at 101. So you get the feeling that this would be his final inning of work. 8 strikeouts tonight, 3 walks, and you can understand why he's at triple digits here in the 6th. 3-0. Mets have posted a victory now, so even more pressure in this game tonight for Washington. 3-1 the final over the Phillies. 4th walk issued by Lackey. Michael Taylor, the 8th place hitter, lined out, struck out. Left-hander getting loose in the pen for Washington. And a ground ball that's hit to Peralta. Little shovel pass to Wong for the out. Nationals strand a runner. They have stranded 6 tonight. And it's 3-2 St. Louis. Jason playing center field tonight. Infield hit, run scored, 1 for 2. Ground ball right side, taken there by Rendon for the first out.
You still haven't introduced me to Brett Hull. I've met his father, Bobby.
Did you interview Bobby?
I did. Yes. The heat's on. I'm not going to forget that. You owe
Brett,
me an introduction to Brett Hull.
When he came back to St. Louis, and it's all on me. This is all on me. Brett, if you're watching tonight, I need you to bail me out. Get down here and meet Tim McCarver. You have an open invitation anytime you want to come in the booth.
Please. Please.
Molina hits it out of play, but Brett came back into St. Louis, worked a little bit with the Dallas Stars in their front office, now working with the Blues, and he told me he's a season ticket holder for the Blues, the Cardinals, and the Rams. So he's around town.
Well, get up here.
Tim McCarver wants to see you and meet you. So
yes.
Get up here now.
Can we be any clearer?
Who else you want to meet? I'll throw it out there.
Oh, Brett Hull's enough.
Okay.
You know. I met Chris Pronger.
Yes.
Right. I met him at Joe's Restaurant in Chicago several years ago. Matter of fact, they had. Oh, yeah, I did.
About 6
what
foot
is he,
7.
6'7"?
Yeah.
My gosh. Couldn't believe a hockey player could be that big.
Oh, yeah.
That tall.
Molina with a fly ball lifted into left center. Taken there by Worth. And how was your meeting with Chris Pronger?
I enjoyed meeting him and talking to him, and smart guy. Very alert and aware.
He will run a franchise before.
Really?
Oh yeah,
really?
He'll be a GM.
No, highly respected. Went in the Hall of Fame, the Hockey Hall of Fame this year, right?
He hasn't been officially inducted, but named.
Oh.
So he's been selected for the Hall of Fame.
When is that induction ceremony?
I think November.
Oh.
And for anybody around here that knows hockey or follows the Blues, you just sit there and you wonder what may have been if he stayed here in town. Unfortunately, at the time, ownership was in a state of flux. He was traded. He goes on, like many former Blues, and won a cup with another team, unfortunately. One of the most dominating defensemen ever. Mean, big, strong. Strike on Colton Wong. 1-2 the count. Bobby Orr, you've had him on your show.
Yeah. No, I have not. I'm sorry. I have not. Nope.
But you've met him. He's a baseball fan.
Oh, yeah, I have not met him. No.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I've been close on several occasions. No, I have not. Some consider him the greatest player ever. Some. Others Gretzky. Right.
That's my pick. You know, he's in St. Louis a lot. Big baseball fan. So is Bobby Orr.
His son is signed to a minor league contract.
He was with the Cubs for a while.
Yeah.
In the minor leagues. That swung on and missed by Colton Wong, and that's number 4 tonight for Gio Gonzalez. Sends us to the 7th. Game 1 of 3. Washington and St. Louis. And our friend Jeremy Rutherford from the Post-Dispatch, who is the Blues beat writer, has told us November 9th in Toronto will be when Chris Pronger is inducted into Hockey's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's great.
So Kevin Segrist takes over for the Cardinals. There's Chevy called to the pen. And we'll tell you how to get caught up with this game with the Mazda game summary. 3-2 St. Louis. Gonzalez, 6 innings. Zimmerman 2 for 3. Lackey out of the game, 6 innings. And the Cardinals catcher Yadier Molina is 1 for 3 with an RBI. And Danny Espinosa will pinch hit. The switch hitter. A pinch hit for Gio Gonzalez, so his night is through after 6 innings.
You know what I would have done if I were Mike Molina? I would have sent Lackey back out there and make Matt Williams make a move, since you're going to bring Segrist in the game anyway. If it's a left-handed hitter, then bring Segrist into the game. That's within the rules, obviously. You don't have to throw a pitch if you go out there.
Good point.
Maybe they put one of two. Maybe they put Clint Robinson up there. And if Matt Williams wants the left-hander to face the left-hander, but he wouldn't want that. He'd make the move to the right-hander.
Segrist very good in closing out the game yesterday in San Francisco. Had a rough outing on Friday. Much better yesterday in Game 3. Cardinals do get Trevor Rosenthal back and available to close this game out if the opportunity would come. John Lackey strikes out 8 tonight. And he walks 4 and leaves with a chance to pick up the victory. The 2-0. Here's a look at the Hyundai pitch arsenal.
He's been throwing 4-seam fastballs here, but this is reminiscent of night before last. Yesterday was good in that game against San Francisco, but not on Friday night. Unusual and uncharacteristic wildness on Friday night. End up taking the loss against the Giants.
Three balls, 1 strike. Cincinnati leading Chicago. That's 7-5 in the bottom of the 6th. Leadoff walk. So the tying run is aboard. Now the dangerous part of this lineup, the top of the lineup with Worth and Rendon and Harper coming up. Eleventh game as a leadoff hitter for Jason Worth as they're trying to get anything going, minus Denard Span at the top of their lineup. He's had 10 runs scored in the 10 games as a leadoff man. Has not scored tonight, obviously. Matt Williams asked why Worth, and he said, well, one of the reasons why is that we feel he's so talented. He's an interchangeable part anywhere in the lineup. Also, they like the fact that he takes a ton of pitches, nearly 5 per plate appearance.
Yeah, he's had experience hitting leadoff. He did that for the Phillies for several years, off and on. You can put him anywhere.
The 0-1. Cardinals had 18 innings out of their pen against the Diamondbacks, the 4 games, and then 3 over the weekend against San Francisco. And they gave up just 3 earned runs and a 1.50 ERA in those 7 games. Back in safely is Espinosa.
How about that? A little step off and throw over. Quick move by a big man. It's tough for a tall guy to do this. But quick feet by Segrist. Talked about hockey the last half inning. A huge hockey fan. And
Buffalo Sabres.
The Buffalo Sabres, yeah.
So when Brett Hall gets here, we will not introduce him to Kevin Segrist. And of course, you know, Tim.
Kevin can wait.
Well, you know why?
Why?
Brett Hall had the cup clinching goal against the Buffalo Sabres to win the Stanley Cup.
Well,
so
then Kevin shouldn't meet him at all.
Yeah, we're going to separate those two.
Take all of him ourselves.
Another check on Espinosa. Swing and a miss. And Worth strikes out for the second time.
Boy, Kevin moving that fastball around outside to Worth and set him up for that pitch inside. You can do that with one pitch, a fastball, by moving it around, changing grips.
Nationals bench on the left, who's available. Espinosa is off. Siegrist is in. So you start thinking about some of the matchups potentially left in this game. Here's Anthony Rendon with one out and a runner at first. You find it interesting that Siegrist is pitching in the 7th and not the 8th.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, Rosenthal's back. He's cemented in the 9th, or perhaps beyond, depending on the score.
Rendon, a high fly ball into right field. Piscotty is there, 2 down. Also of interest, with a left-hander on the mound, Randy Choate is getting loose in the pen.
That is an interesting point. You know, the one thing, I mean, why are pitchers locked into just pitching 1 inning as relievers? I mean, after even low pitch counts, after a 14-pitch inning or a 15-pitch inning, they don't go back out there. Why? It's the same for all managers, it seems.
Oh, there's no question. It's the specialization of the game.
1 inning, 1 inning, 1 inning. Why? I think it's a reasonable question. You know, you mean to tell me if a guy throws 12 pitches, if he throws 24 instead of 12, there's going to be something happen to his arm? Or because a lot of times if he works 1 inning, he's not coming back the next night either. Or 1 inning 2 days in a row. It's just odd to me.
I'm trying to figure out why Choate would be up in this spot. I mean, Harper, you look at the numbers, Bryce Harper is 1 for 5 with a couple of strikeouts against Randy Choate. Against Kevin Siegrist, he's faced him twice and he's 1 for 2 with a walk. The 2-0 pitch. Now clearly Choate gives you a different look than Siegrist in terms of velocity and Siegrist a hard. I mean, I'm just trying to.
I mean, Choate's only a one gap pitcher. He's only going to pitch to Harper, but you can leave Siegrist in there to pitch to Zimmerman.
A 3-0 pitch, and he walked him. So the second walk of the inning issued by Siegrist. Harper is now up to 97 walks, and here is Zimmerman.
Zimmerman with great power the other way. His power actually is to right center field. Loves to extend those long arms. He had a double down the right field line his first at bat tonight.
You know, we're wondering why Siegrist here in the 7th, and maybe this is the reason why. You know, you've got this part of the lineup coming up. This tough part of the lineup.
Sure.
Use him here instead of the 8th.
Yep.
So 2 on, 2 outs. And Ryan Zimmerman. Two hits on the night for the Nationals first baseman. Interesting there. 2 on, 2 outs. And the 1-0 pitch to Zimmerman. Fastball taken low and in.
So good to Worth and falling behind Harper and Zimmerman.
Now time is called. That was called by Molina, and he wants to talk to Segrist again.
No idea why Yadi's going out there right now. No idea. If you're looking at the guy at second base as far as delivering signs, he's only throwing 1 pitch. That's a fastball.
The 2-0.
Looks like a slider from Segrist. No, cut fastball, I suppose. Maybe took a little off.
Veteran at the plate, 3 balls, no strikes. They turn him loose on 3-0.
Maybe.
3-1.
Inside part. Zimmerman likes to extend his arm. Power the other way.
The 3-1 pitch. Driven out to deep center field. Hayward back, looks up, and goodbye. A long home run. Ryan Zimmerman. Stuck with the lefty, and the Cardinals get burned.
Well, that was just disaster waiting to happen. I mean, you could feel it. Slowing down of the pace, falling behind, falling behind, falling behind. Right down the pipe. Hit about 440 feet to center field. Tremendous power to center and the other way.
Home run number 13 for Ryan Zimmerman. This place has gotten quiet. Yunel Escobar, the single in the 6th, was grounded out to second, grounded out to short.
Well, the thing is, I mean, there's such atypical appearances. The one on Friday night by Kevin Segrist and the one tonight. You don't expect falling behind all the hitters, can't find the strike zone. To me, he's really rarely had that problem, if ever, in a 4-day period where he's just out of the strike zone. Can you think of a time,
no,
Dan?
Not this year, for sure.
He's had problems, sure. A little last year, but just has had a terrific year this year.
4th home run he's allowed, and the count goes to 0-2 on Escobar, and he strikes him out. Ryan Zimmerman, the face of this franchise in many ways. He's been around a long time, and he knew it. 3-run homer. Washington on top. Dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Dependable veteran reliever Casey Jansen, 8 major league seasons. Usually has exceptional command. Ground ball. Base hit off the bat of Mark Reynolds.
Well, Mark Reynolds knows that. Jumping on the first pitch.
So the hit streak now at 8 with 2 hits tonight for Mark Reynolds.
Looks like a spinning slider. The players, again, I know you've heard this term, you folks, but the players refer to that as a cement mixer. And what happens is that slider doesn't go down, but it stays on the same plane. And it's one of the most dangerous pitches in the game.
25th game as a Cardinal now for Brandon Moss, and he has hit a couple of home runs, driven in 4, 17 on the year combined with Cleveland. Represents the tying run. That pitch inside. We are in the bottom of the 7th, along with Jim Hayes, Tim McCarver, Dan McLaughlin with you, and our entire Fox Sports Midwest crew. Ryan Zimmerman, a long home run to put the Nationals on top 5-3.
Remember that at bat by Zimmerman. He thought that 3-0 pitch was inside. He was ready to walk to first, load the bases, and now thinking back, Cardinal fans probably thinking that ball was inside.
Yeah. Can we go back and call it a ball?
Yeah, right.
Load him up. You mentioned it. If he gets his arms extended, big man, hits for tremendous power when right. Been a good player for a long time.
Sure has. Certainly the leader in that clubhouse.
55-4 this year when leading after 7 innings. Remember, this is a bullpen that has added the former Boston Red Sox closer and Phillies closer Jonathan Broxton. They have Drew Storn, who was having a very good year. Excuse me, Jonathan Papelbon. So they've got Papelbon and Storn out there ready for the 8th and the 9th if we get there and they have a lead. Moss hits it out of play. The 1-2. Will foul again.
But could be forgotten. If you folks did not see that West Coast swing, Brandon Moss with a home run on Thursday night, a triple on Saturday to open up a 4-run inning, and a big home run yesterday against the Giants.
Regardless of what he does here, slowly he has been taking better at bats.
Yes, he has.
Breaks his bat here. Hit to the right side. A race to first and save. Moss beat it out. And we may have a challenge here coming up from Matt Williams. We'll see.
Boy, you talk about opening things up. Whether he's out or safe, Brandon Moss can't run any harder or faster. Oh, that last leap. It's the last yard of a 100-meter. Pop the ribbon.
Just beat it out.
I wonder when his last infield hit was. We wouldn't know because he'd been with Cleveland, and of course that's in the American League. But boy, he wanted that hit very badly for obvious reasons.
Here's Garcia. He had a key 2 out base hit to score a run yesterday. He'll pinch hit here. Hits it the other way and foul for strike 1.
I love that by Mike Matheny, allowing him to hit. No bunt in order. He may be bunting right now.
Just going to ask you that. Do you think he does now?
That first pitch, maybe, but that's adventurous baseball and aggressive, and I think you got to do it. He's a contact hitter. Now you might change it.
Reynolds is your lead runner at second base. 1 ball, 1 strike. One of the best moments we've had this year is Greg Garcia coming off the bench, had been just recalled to the big leagues, and a dramatic home run off of Pedro Strop against the Cubs. for his only home run this year. The 1-1. Garcia, his first start at shortstop yesterday.
You think about it, when a hitter shows that he's in a bunting situation, he's going to swing the bat. Puts a little more heat on the pitcher. Not that one fastball, make him bunt, take the out.
Two-one and a double play ball. Flip to second. 6-4-3 double play off the bat of Garcia. Now does Matt Williams go to a lefty to face Matt Carpenter?
I would say yes. Garcia hit the ball hard. That's the thing about a double play ball. You've got to hit it hard for it to be a double play. So a pitcher trying to put a guy in a situation, okay, let's see. I'll let him hit it hard, but right at somebody. That's the deal, and that's what happened.
Well, it looks like he's going to let the right-hander face Carpenter here.
That's a surprise.
He's got Matt Thornton and Felipe Rivero in his pen from the left side.
So why is he warming up?
The next lefty you'd get to would be Jason Hayward, and you've already used Garcia, your lone left-handed bat, off the bench. Carpenter with home run number 20 yesterday. Looks at a ball, and Piscotty is on deck. 2 balls and no strikes. Carpenter is struck out on a check swing back in the first. Flied out to left and grounded out to second. The 2-0. 3-0. Well, 14 of the 20 for Matt Carpenter have been hit out of the leadoff spot. He's chasing a Hall of Famer in Lou Brock. Sally Hemus on that list, Brock again, and then Ray Langford. Carpenter hitting .351 this season with runners in scoring position. And he walked him. The go-ahead run will come to the plate. It's been late innings and bullpen decisions that have haunted the Nationals in postseason plays. You see Piscotty is over 3 and he's hitting .382 with runners on and in scoring position. Last year Drew Storen came in after Jordan Zimmerman was 1 out away from finishing off the Giants, and turned out to be an 18-inning game, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Piscotty rips it foul.
That was the game Brandon Belt hit the home run for the Giants in the 18th. Nobody will know what would have happened if Jordan Zimmerman had been left in the game. Once again, the cruelty of baseball.
The 0-1 to Stephen Piscotty. 0-2. Piscotty has hit 2 balls to the track tonight. 1 into right center. That was in the 5th. First time up in the 1st, and also flied out to shallow right. Now he's in the hole 0-2. It was almost as if this right-hander was just pitching around Matt Carpenter, but and that's dangerous if you're thinking in terms of that. Got the tying runs on and bring up the power potential here of Piscotty.
Well, he has not had to face Piscotty and realize how dangerous he's been the last 2 weeks.
Ooh. Breaking ball, and he may have gotten away with it.
That was a hanger. You can tell the tension of the game by the fidgets of the pitcher and the hitter.
On 1-2. Piscotty takes a ball. Well, that's a tough take right there. From the Washington side of things too, Tim, it's really a dramatic home run by Zimmerman, knowing that the Mets have already posted a victory here tonight too. This is a must win.
Yeah.
It's a big game for them.
Start out the season, regardless of what the players say, they say one game at a time, but you know, you lull into it. Take it a week at a time. Things will be all right. Then you have a bad April, so we'll get them in May. Things even up. Not anymore. That time is over. Now it's every day. Talk about crunch time.
The 2-2. Piscotty out to left, and that's a base hit. Worth was playing very deep in left field, and Stephen Piscotty delivers with an RBI, his 24th, and it's now a 1-run lead.
Yeah, I think what the Washington Nationals are doing, playing a no doubles defense when a single will do. If he's in normal depth, catches that ball easily. Just like in football, when they prevent defense in football goes against teams so many times. Madden used to talk about that all the time as Steve McCaddy comes out. You can overdo any rule of thumb.
How many times did you hear John Madden say the prevent defense prevents you from winning?
Oh, I remember that. He hated it.
Hated it. Play the game the way that you got here. You'd always talk about that. And now it's Johnny Peralta who has singled, walked and scored, and flied out to right. He's 3 for 5, by the way, against Jansen in his career. The tying run is at second base. The go-ahead run at first. Lead is cut to 5-4. Cardinals about hit Washington 8-5 in this contest. First pitch, a ball. I just wonder, Tim, thinking about this, and now the catcher out to visit one of your favorite times of the game. If you go with the lefty to face Carpenter, which was the move that we assumed he would do.
Yeah.
And it goes back to your point. We were talking about an inning or two ago about a reliever having more than just one inning. You've got 2 outs. So at that point, if you needed Storn to come in and get your final out in the 7th and pitch the 8th to get to Papelbon, why not?
Sure.
Your season's on the line.
That's right. That's right.
Just wonder if he's given that any thought, or if he's just staying with Jansen to say, hey, he's my guy here in the 7th, and 8th is Storn. Ninth is Papelbon.
Well, that, to me, is you paint yourself into a corner if you say he's my 7th inning guy, he's my 8th inning guy. Everybody's on duty now. We're at the firehouse.
The 1-1 hit down the left field line. It is hooking and foul. Ooh, he hung a breaking ball, and Peralta would love that one back.
He hung a breaking ball to Piscotty. It's what he hit on the 2-2 pitch. It's a little rolling curveball. And I got to say, that is not his best pitch. And in situations like this, 7th inning on, if you get beat, you want to get beat with your best.
The 1-2. Stephen Piscotty with that base hit, by the way, extended his hitting streak to 8 games. 24 RBIs in 37 games to start his career. 20 RBIs in the month of August. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Peralta with a fly ball into right center. That ball is down. This game is tied. Piscotty is held up at third as Peralta has tied it up at 5.
Here comes Matt Williams right now to make a move, a double switch. Terrific hitting by Peralta with 2 strikes. Going the other way. One hands it into right center. And the Cardinals tie it. Come on.
Felipe Rivero, so he's loose, and he will get Jason Hayward with the go-ahead run at third base. We are tied 5-5 here in the home half of the 7th at Busch Stadium. Hayward has an infield hit, scored a run back in the 4th. First pitch to the Cardinals center fielder. Fastball at 94 and taken high for ball 1.
Rivero with a very good arm. Live fastball. Ball's on top of you in a hurry.
Came from Tampa Bay with Jose Lobaton a couple of years ago. And the 1-0.
He can get wild with that electric stuff too. He's thrown 2 wild pitches in 31 innings. Something to keep in mind.
Rated as the number 2 left-handed pitching prospect in the Washington chain, according to Baseball America, and you could see why with that fastball.
It explodes on you.
Here's a 2-0. Steve Cishek, who had 1 pitch in the game yesterday, picked up an inning-ending double play. He's getting loose in the pen. The 2-1 pitch. Hayward hits it the other way. Well hit. Deep left. And this ball is off the wall. 1 run scores. Here comes another. Hayward delivers with a double. Birds back on top. 7-5.
This is Watch Steven and Johnny run time.
Watch Jose run too. He's trying to get him going too.
Jose was happy. He's had a lot of action down there tonight.
It is a 4-run 7th at the moment for the Cardinals. They're back on top 7-5. They'll intentionally walk Yadier Molina to pitch to Wong.
I wouldn't do that. You watch Wong hit every day. He's unfazed by left-handed pitching. Not that Yadi's an out man, but just to intentionally walk him, I wouldn't do that.
You know what's been interesting in this game, and we've talked a lot about it, but the positioning of the outfielders in this entire game, from inning number 1 to the no doubles defense in this game, and then after they play normal depth for Hayward, he puts it over their head.
Well, he played, that's Jason Worth in left field. He was playing a no doubles defense and a single dropped in front of him with Piscotty. He was in normal defense, which was more shallow, and the ball was hit over his head by Hayward.
Can't win right now.
Jason Worth's got to be thinking, where should I play? Every place I play is wrong in this inning.
And the Nationals are thinking, here we go again at Busch Stadium and against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
2 outs, 2 on. Here's Colton Wong.
Well, just good hitting by Hayward, too. Going the other way, we talked about it really all year since May, that horrible April he had. And just manhandling the scene since then. He is so strong, and he used that strength to hit it over Worth's head.
0-2 on Colton Wong. Wong with an RBI base hit into center back in the 4th. He has struck out twice, 1 for 3. No balls, 2 strikes on the Cardinals' second baseman. Popped up. And that'll find the seats out of play. Wong is the 9th man that the Cardinals have sent to the plate here in the 7th inning. And the 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. Colton Wong. Into right. That ball is down. Hayward coming on. Throw by Harper. Not in time. Diving in head first. Hayward scores. 8-5 St. Louis.
Colton Wong, the left-hander, delivers. So Rivero was brought into the game primarily to face 2 left-handers. They've driven in 3 runs to give the Cardinals the lead. First Hayward, now Wong.
And now Reynolds, who started this rally for the Cardinals with a base hit into left. Runner goes, and it's hit out of play. Molina running from second to third. He did that in the series against Arizona, and it paid off. That's how he picks up his stolen bases. When the defense falls to sleep, he takes advantage. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is the kind of game that has summed up the season of the St. Louis Cardinals here in 2015.
And it's almost been the type of game that summed up the season for the Nationals thus far. In microcosm right here.
Ground ball that stays fair. They'll step on the bag for the final out. 6 hits, 5 runs, and some fun here at Busch Stadium. Arguably the biggest hit in this game. Jason Hayward, his double to left. Mike Matheny says, attaboy. The Comelong adds up. 8-5, St. Louis lead. Studio and a Bomberito Sports Update. What an inning by the Cardinals in the home half of the 7th. They pick up 5, and the Cardinals, when scoring 6 or more runs this year, an impressive 31-0. Desmond, Lobaton, and Taylor will face Steve Cishek here in the 8th inning. Cishek had the game against Arizona in which he walked the bases loaded, bailed out by Seth Maness, and then pitched over the weekend in San Francisco. A couple of the runners on, one pitch, got a double play and was through. And there's a strike to Ian Desmond. We're underway. The Chevy called to the pen. Up the middle and a base hit into center field. Desmond 1 for 4.
Oh, hit hard right back through the originator. Woo, get down, Steve.
And a ball to Jose Lobaton. 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts and a walk. What a game, huh?
I'm telling you. Hits keep right on coming.
Cardinals have out hit Washington 11-6. And a high fly ball into right field. To Scotty, plenty of room to make the catch. Trevor Rosenthal, weekend off, paternity leave. Sam Tuivailala was sent back to Memphis, and Rosenthal is available and ready to go tonight. Broxton starts to throw as well in the Cardinals pen.
Broxton for this inning, Trevor for the 9th inning. More than likely.
Cishek is saying double play and send us to the bottom of the 8th, and then you don't worry about Broxton.
Yes.
And a 1-0 pitch to Michael Taylor. Taylor has lined out to second, grounded into a fielder's choice back of the 6th, and has also struck out. One ball and 2 strikes.
Biting slider there.
A lot sharper here.
Yeah.
You talk about the cement mixer, and a guy like Cishek, easy to get under it.
Get under it, right, because he drops down anyway. He's not a guy who throws that slider from up top.
The 1-2 fastball misses low and away. I think what makes him unique too, outside of the obvious, which is his motion, but he throws hard from this motion too. Not a lot of guys do that have this.
When a guy throws from down there, if you're a hitter, you know that the curveball slider never goes down.
Swung on and missed by Taylor.
But it can be nasty on an even plane. Like it was to Michael Taylor there. This is a tough pitch right here.
So there's 2 down and a runner at first. And Trey Turner. See Molina talking to Carpenter to take a few steps in, be prepared for the potential bunt. We saw Turner spring training this year. He was traded to Washington, and an oddity of the deal is that he couldn't be called up until the draft of this year was done, because he was traded from that draft class of a year ago. So it had to be agreed upon to be able to do that. The 0-1. Ooh, that is a nasty pitch there.
It's the definition of that pitch. It slides across the plate.
It's a 1.5 feet.
Yeah, that was a slider.
Tough on a right-hander from this particular motion. The 1-2 went with it again. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Flip to second. Long is there. Cishek a scoreless top of the 8th. 8-5 St. Louis. Cardinals have out hit the Nationals 11-6. They lead 8-5. Brandon Moss will be the hitter. A real key play in this game. Right-hander is in for Washington, but you think about Brandon Moss with an infield hit. You don't think it's a big deal, but now you look back on it, that's the first out potentially in the 7th, and instead he's safe, comes around to score, and part of a 5-run inning.
Yeah, you had that double play, and you lose that play that Moss beat to first base, and the double play kind of takes you out, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Blake Trinan. First pitch was at 96.
All 5 runs scored by the Cardinals in the 7th scored with 2 outs.
Trinan has had a tremendous month of August. 11 1/3, 4 hits, no runs, 11 strikeouts. And Moss greets him with a base hit into right field. Nothing says a 5-run rally in the 7th like the T-Mobile fan photo of the night. Nothing. There's my man, Dennis. MW, Data Strong fan.
All right.
Well, Tommy Pham will be the pinch runner here for the Cardinals. So he will pinch run for Moss. And the hitter will be Peter Borges. The years of 2004 and 2005, Tim, you were calling the national games and seeing a great Cardinals team. Back-to-back years of 100-win seasons, and this particular team has that type of feel. Find a way to win. 2004 defined by a remarkable lineup.
I'll say what we were talking about earlier. I mean, this team is playing like it's behind in the standings and not ahead. They've been ahead almost the whole season, not wire to wire, but close.
Ground ball that's hit to third. We'll get one and safe at first. Zimmerman trying to sell it off the bag. And Borges beats it out. Well, that was awfully close. Not much of a stretch by Zimmerman, more of trying to sell it as he came off the bag. Ooh, he might be out. Ooh. No argument or challenge yet, and now we see they will challenge this. Why not here in the ninth?
Yeah,
or rather
right.
the bottom of the eighth.
But I mean, this team has never at any time during this season played like they were comfortable.
How much of a factor then is Pittsburgh in all this as to why that you're at this point?
I think more importantly, what this bodes for the Cardinals, it seems to me, is that they're preparing themselves for the postseason. They don't know where it's going to be, but they're preparing themselves to go full throttle into the postseason. Whether it's the first round or second round, you know, if the Pirates win all their games, for instance, I mean, they've done everything to keep the Pirates away. Certainly the Cubs are over 9 out now, even with the no-hitter by Arrieta last night. But they have been playing to me like they've been behind, and they're trying to play catch up. They're desperate catch up ball. And that is really a credit to Mike Matheny and his coaching staff, because it's tough to do. It's tough to keep guys revved up on a day-to-day basis. There's never been any time during the season where they've sat back on their laurels. You know, they lose a crushing series to the Pirates right before the All-Star game. Lose 3 out of 4 in about as bad a way as you can. I think 3 were extra inning losses, right?
Walk-off.
Yeah, walk-offs. And they come right back, and Pittsburgh gets swept in Milwaukee, and the Cardinals pick up where they left off. And he was out, and I think that's a good call.
Has to hit the back of the glove, which it does, and then step onto the bag there by Borges. So now there's 2 down. Call is overturned. And here is Matt Carpenter. Cardinals were shut out in San Diego in one game, 8-0. Since that time, they've outscored their opponents 57-26.
That's 60% more runs.
Ooh. 1-2 the count on Carpenter, with 1 out, or rather 2 outs, and nobody on. Rosenthal is loose and ready to come in. Carpenter chops it foul. Boy, Chris Maloney is on his game. Back-to-back days with nice plays, those soft hands.
Kidding Chris last night after the plane ride, talking about he didn't need a glove. Yesterday was a tough chance.
Oh.
Tonight, not so.
Past Zimmerman and into right field, and a base hit for Carpenter. Number 13 with the 13th hit for the Birds tonight.
Keep in mind, when Steve Biscotti had that hit his last time up, there were 2 outs. Had he not gotten that hit, then the heroics later on in the inning do not happen.
Two outs, runner at first.
was a plucky at bat too, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
You know, a 2-strike hit. He has been impressive.
One ball, one strike. Twice he has flied out to the track in right field. Cardinals trying to make it 19 of 21 against the Nationals in the win column here at Busch Stadium. A check swing, apparently he did go. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Cardinals fans are upset, not because of the first base umpire, but because it was their guy. And Piscotty has all of a sudden turned into the Cardinal fans' guy.
One of their favorites.
Yeah.
He strikes out here. So we head to the 9th. Rosenthal will come on. Cardinals on top 8-5 in game 1 of 43 in save opportunities. A 3-run lead for the Cardinals as we head to the top of the 9th. See what he's done with rest. Plenty rested for this appearance tonight.
You just hope he's not wild early, having not thrown a ball since Thursday night.
Strike 1 to Jason Worth, who'll get the top of the lineup here. Piscotty is in left, Hayward in right, Borges stays in the game in center, Rosenthal your pitcher. 1 ball, 1 strike. Melanson of Pittsburgh with 43, Rosenthal with 41 saves, Kimbrel of San Diego at 36. Into center field and a base hit. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Fastball and a strike at 98.
It's almost like Trevor Rosenthal has to get his outs separately. He's not a double play ball pitcher by any means.
Base hit into right. Now the tying run will come to the plate.
And that's what makes it difficult in situations like this with the meat of the order up. You don't get a 2-for-1 exchange because Trevor rarely throws a double play ball unless it's a line drive at somebody and they double up a base runner. But well, 2 straight hits. Pardon me, Dan.
No, isn't this something right now?
Yeah. In a spot.
Ooh, is he ever right now? Rosenthal against Harper. Harper is 0 for 2 with a pair of walks and a strikeout against Trevor as that ball gets away from Molina. And the runners are hung up. It came right back to Molina. He knows where to go. Runner is hung up between first and second. He's going to think this through and tag him out. Smart move. Made the right play. Out number 1.
He made the right play. They didn't. Jason Worth. There's no place to go. You're down by 3, not 2. Confusing the trail runner. It's Jason Worth's fault, not Rendon. Rendon's out to dry. Molina running at him. He doesn't want to commit too early. And he runs right at him, and you could see Rendon looking back at Worth and thinking, why'd you do that? And make me do that?
What a break for the Cardinals.
That's just horrible base running. Terrible.
And now there's 1 out in Harper, who could have tied it with 1 swing, can't. The 2-0.
The gods of baseball rarely let you back in when you mess up like that.
The 2-1 pitch to Harper. Zimmerman has already homered here tonight. A 3-run shot back in the 7th, which put Washington on top at that time just for the moment. Cardinals came back 5 runs in the bottom half. 3-1 here to Harper. Tying run comes to the plate. 2 hits and a walk. Harper walking for the 3rd time. Molina out to visit with Rosenthal. Wong will come in this conversation, as well as Matt Carpenter, and Ryan Zimmerman will be the hitter who's had quite the day. 3-run homer, a single, a double that scored Harper in the first, 4 RBIs on the night. Cubs now trail 10-5 in the ninth.
Excuse me, Dan. Now you play a no doubles defense with this guy hitting. You're forced to. Too much power.
First pitch to Zimmerman. Strike 1. He is grounded into 13 double plays.
All fastballs so far from Rosenthal.
Oh, 1. 0-2. Little broken bat, popped up, playable, 2 down. Jason Hayward, our Budweiser player of the game, 2 for 4, key double, part of the 5-run 7th for the Cardinals. To go along with a single, pair of RBIs, 2 runs scored tonight. He was also our player of the game yesterday.
Dos.
Off the bench, final hope for the Nationals, Clint Robinson. Strike 1.
This guy can hit. First time on a major league roster. Had a pinch hit home run in yesterday's game, a game the Nats won.
One ball, 1 strike. 2 on. The 3-run lead. 2-1. Two and 2. Washington down to their final strike. They come back late, finish off the Nationals in game 1, 8-5. What a comeback win tonight.
No sense in changing our words and thoughts from earlier. They're playing like they're behind in the standings every night.
$85-46 for the St. Louis Cardinals. Some emotions in this game. Long, Molina. We saw it from the manager, Jason Hayward. It all adds up to win number 85 tonight. Post-game show comes your way next.